Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Pretty good.
Excellent, excellent. I think it's interesting that you always have the mic pushed up to your nose now.
It's a good distance indicator of about 6 feet.
Yep.
Social distancing with my nose. Go ahead.
The cocktail of the week this week was sent to us by a friend of the squad, Alex with an I.
Ilex?
No, Alex.
Oh.
And it's this, what appears to be an old ad. So let me paint a picture for you. There's like a headline. It says, "Do you dare ask a date to your swamp water party?" Swamp water party is in all caps. And then beneath that, it's a split image. On the left are 5 mason jars full of swamp water, which is the cocktail, and they have the swamp water logo on them, which says swamp water, and then like a gator with a straw in its mouth, like a little head sticking out of the water, and then there's some...
Is the gator sucking from all 5?
It does appear the gator is sucking from several straws.
What's the color of this liquid,
Swamp
Jen?
water colored, greenish.
Greenish. There we go, because it's not good.
There's some caption underneath that's printed on these mason jars. We can't see what it says. And then there's 2 cartoon alligators, a girl and a boy. You can tell because the girl has eyelashes.
Okay.
And they have cartoon straws drawn into 2 of these mason jars of swamp water cocktail. That is the left half of the ad.
Okay.
Okay. They're like colored in with crayons.
Really?
Can you see them on there? I mean...
Oh, yeah, they're on a date. They're doing
Yeah.
like a Lady and Tramp kind of thing.
It's like a 4th grader. It's just the heads. They're
Yep.
colored in green. They got a couple little teeth sticking out. And then on the right is then divided into 2 sections. Some text on the top, and on the bottom is a photo, and the text on the photo says, "Green chartreuse, 110 proof." And it's got a bottle of green chartreuse and then a glass, like a hot... like a rocks glass with a couple ice cubes and some extremely bright green chartreuse in there. Like, that is Photoshop edited. It's not normally that bright green.
It's wishful.
That's not the swamp water, though. That's just green chartreuse in the bottle. Okay, so the right half of the pane, text, and then that photo. The text on the top says, "By all means, many a match has been made." I guess that's saying, do you dare ask your date to a swamp water party?
Oh, my God.
It's answering, by all means. Many a match has been made while nipping our naughty nectar.
What the?
Just to make sure you keep the other guests happy with a steady flow of swamp water. And then it proceeds to tell you the recipe for either a single glass, like what you're drinking, or by the gallon.
Who wrote this? A frat?
By the glass is 1.5 ounces of green chartreuse, 6 ounces of pineapple juice. It just says a quarter lime and ice.
Okay.
By the gallon is 1 bottle of green chartreuse, 3 quarts of pineapple juice, 4.5 limes, and ice. And then it says, "P.S. When the party's over and it's just you and your favorite crocodile, pour yourselves some green fire chartreuse on the rocks."
Oh.
It's 110 proof and imported from France.
This is a green chartreuse ad.
I mean, it sure seems like it. And the funny, like,
It's
it must...
real cheesy, though.
It's extremely cheesy. I mean, it seems like it came out of the 70s or 80s. It's also very dated because green chartreuse is very, very hard to get now and extremely expensive because the monks are, like, doing more reflection and meditation. And so they're making less green chartreuse.
I was totally wrong. It is not a frat drink.
It's
green chartreuse
delicious.
is like,
I
know,
pass
but
that
it's-
over here. Let me have another
there's
sip of
nothing
it.
cool. Like, it's not.
Green chartreuse is not a frat drink, a frat liquor at all.
Yeah, it's not bro-y at all.
Oh, no, are you leaving? Okay, hang on. Let me pause the podcast then. So, yeah, it's like sometimes you can find green chartreuse at the liquor store now, but it's pretty hard. And if you want to buy it online, like, it used to be something that was like $35 a bottle. And a lot of places
Still.
it's like $100 a bottle.
Yeah, it's
Now.
like, but even 30, it was never like Everclear or whatever. It's never like, I never thought of it as a gallon drink, but I guess Chartreuse was trying to make it happen.
Well,
Trying to make swamp water happen.
so I made that. I was like, that sounds great, like pineapple juice and chartreuse. And so I made this in a glass, and then I realized it needed to be in a mason jar. So as you see, I transferred that drink into a mason jar.
This is big Chartreuse. This is the monks trying to sell us more Chartreuse without being able to make more Chartreuse. We're going to have to take our Chartreuse from someone else.
Back in the day, they were pushing it, and now they're like, no, we're going to do more monkly things.
We didn't mean that. In the age of the internet, we didn't mean it.
I love chartreuse. I love it so much. I kind of hoard it now.
It might be addictive.
It's so good.
You have all the markings of an addict.
I love it. And in fact, when I made myself a drink earlier, I knew I was going to make this for the cocktail of the week. But like one of my favorite drinks is the après-ski swizzle, which is pineapple juice and green chartreuse and also rum and orgeat syrup.
It's just a step in this direction. This is just a logical end point. No, actually, the logical end point is you in the corner with a bottle of Chartreuse.
just drinking out of it. Yeah. There is a chartreuse swizzle, which is basically like the only liquor in it is chartreuse.
And ice.
It's like chartreuse and ice and like, maybe a little bit of sweetener. I mean, well, I guess I could drink the Green Fire chartreuse on the rocks. That sounds fine. They say
Chartreuse on the rocks is Chartreuse on the rocks. You don't get to call that Green Fire.
They call it Green Fire chartreuse on the rocks.
The whole premise is weird in that ad. And also, Chartreuse shouldn't be like a get sloshed drink.
I mean, these cartoon alligators are definitely getting sloshed. This drink's great.
It just implies that it makes you romantic, Cole.
Do you feel romantical? I guess I've had
sure,
2.5 drinks.
Very romantical. Maybe a little bit more green chartreuse. And I get all reptilian, too.
Whoa.
The most romantic of the animals.
Of course.
This was good. I mean, it's a tasty drink.
It's very good.
In defense of the weird advertising, it is a tasty drink, but it's a really hard ingredient to get now.
Chartreuse and pineapple juice, great combo.
Yeah.
And add some rum in there. Don't add rum in there. Add some sweetener or not. Great.
Yeah, it's so herbal. It makes a lot of things more fun and interesting.
Yeah, it's very tasty. So there you go. The cocktail of the week.
Success. I like it. But the ad makes it funnier. Are you able to post that thing?
Sure. I can't be copyrighted still. It seems old.
It doesn't say copyrighted. We have no.
Sure does not.
We have no information to believe that it would be, and we don't even know where it came from.
Yep. I'll post it. All right, it's time for Administrative Corner.
Oh, I love Administrative Corner.
This week, we are going to talk about last week's podcast, where in the process of the podcast, I was like, what would be a great idea? If someone took an Amazon box and just filled it with cicadas and mailed it to me.
Yeah, well, you were sober when you said that.
Fully sober. 0 drinks.
You must have been in an altered state. I should have asked if you were taken over by aliens, because that, in hindsight, in the light of day tonight, that seems weird for you to ask for.
It just, I love the idea of a box that's kind of screaming.
You love chaos, and you definitely have some food's energy.
And my desire for chaos overrode my fear of bugs, and someone said aggressively.
You know what's in that box screaming? It's huge bugs.
Bugs. Someone's like, she aggressively requested cicadas, and I want to say friend of the squad, Riley Joe, rose to the occasion.
Yep.
Riley Joe went out. I've got our conversation up, and she said, "I've got cicadas for you. Collecting them was truly gross. I didn't examine them carefully because touching them was bad enough. So you'll likely receive bugs in every stage of the lifestyle. I will overnight them to you today. What is the address?" And I was like, "Here's my home address, Riley Joe." And then, I kind of forgot about it.
This is the best. This makes it even the better.
You were gone.
I know. I'm sorry I wasn't here to witness this. I truly missed an opportunity.
So Wednesday, I go out, and there's 3 boxes at the curb, and I think one of them might have been my camera. I'm in a photography class, and I broke my camera, and so I ordered a replacement, returned the broken one. And I was like, I cannot wait for my camera to get here. I've got like classwork to do and whatever. And so I went out and there were 3 boxes and they put them like right inside the gate for us. And so I just like pick up all the boxes and I'm walking back into the house. And one of them is this like white box. And I'm walking and I hear this kind of clicking sound.
Oh man, this is
It's
the
like-
best. Is it knocking on the box? Tap 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 tap
I
tap
thought,
tap tap tap.
I was like, God, that is a weird sound. But like the neighbors have
Kept
like,
getting louder
they're doing
and
some work.
louder.
They're doing some work. So they had like lawn guys and construction guys. And I was like, God, that's carrying in a weird way. And I get the box all the way like from, the street
Did
where
you
they
say
just
carrying?
carrying.
You're carrying.
I am.
It's carrying. Everything's giving horror movie.
So I come from the street, I come all the way up the stairs, and as I reach the top of the stairs, I'm like, that sound is coming from this box. And then I look at the box, and the box has a bunch of holes in it, and literally in big, like, Sharpie, says live insects on the side.
Cool.
And
It
I was
was
like,
so cool.
oh my God, the cicadas have arrived.
It was everything that is like old school awesome.
This is exactly what I
A
wanted.
box that says live insects on it is always awesome. Come on. That's so cool.
So I'm like, okay, there's cicadas in the box. Now, I did not know how Riley Joe put these cicadas in the box. Were they just like scooped up with a shovel into the box, then it was hastily taped shut?
That's a perfectly legitimate option.
I mean, that's sort of what I was expecting. So I'm like, okay, I now need to open the box. I have fucked around and now it is time to find out.
Me fucking around. Yes, this is awesome. Go, go, go. Me finding out. Well, this sucks.
What the fuck?
I don't like this.
So I bring the box. I get a little like razor blade for opening the box. And I bring the box over to our gumbo limbo tree, which is like the big tree in our yard.
Far enough away from the house.
And a lot of room for me to run.
I would have done this on the porch and then regretted it.
Yeah. So I open the box and then I like fling the lids up and kind of run away a little bit because I'm just like waiting for cicadas to start like crawling out. of it. But Riley Joe was very smart and all the cicadas were in like a mesh laundry bag.
Oh, that's a good insect bag.
So good. Like
Yeah,
such
yeah.
a good idea. So there are no cicadas crawling out of the box when I open it. There's a mesh laundry bag in there, zipped closed, and there are a lot of cicadas in that bag. And they're kind of crawling around.
Yeah,
and
well,
they're
they're like, ooh, hello.
making noise.
They're like, good evening.
And I'm like, okay. And I like pick up the box. You guys, I'm scared of bugs, right? I'm not scared of like bees and ants, but like big bugs.
It's weird because
especially.
you're not scared of anything, but bugs oogie you out.
My adrenaline was very high.
I mean, they're big ass, weird mobile bugs. Look at those big ass eyes.
Yeah, the
They're
flying part.
they're amazing looking. I mean, they don't have any mouth, but they still seem
Oh, they
awfully
get stuck
awful.
in your hair.
They got those claw little feet.
Oh. So I'm like, okay. So I pick up the box and I dump out the bag that has the cicadas in it. And it's funny, I like was filming as I was doing it, and I'm like, it's so funny how nervous I am on that video. I'm like, oh no, this is
I
terrible.
know, like they're gonna jump at you or something. I mean, it's undefined, right? You don't
Yeah.
have to. They're not actually gonna attack you with little stabby knives or anything.
No, that's never the worry. So I unzip the bag and prepare for the cicadas to start just like swarming out, like flying everywhere. And a couple of them kind of crawl. And I'm like, okay. So I like pick up the bottom of the bag and kind of shake it to get the cicadas more towards the top and then drop it on the ground.
Yeah,
And they start crawling out.
yeah.
Now,
They're not very good at moving.
they are not.
Luckily,
They definitely also were feeling the journey that they had made.
those poor cicadas. I always feel bad for each individual cicada, even though there are hundreds of millions of them.
Their life is not long after they emerge.
2 weeks, I think, right? At the most.
And these guys were at the end of their time, whether induced by the travel or just cause.
I don't even want to think. They were in some plane hold,
Yeah.
under pressurized.
So, I mean, they were definitely not all dead. But at least half of them were dead. There were probably 100 cicadas in the bag, I would guess. Maybe half of them were dead.
That's a lot of cicadas.
The ones that were alive were definitely crawling around, but they weren't really able to fly. Like some kind of winged their wings, but they couldn't really get anywhere.
Yeah, they were weak.
They were weak and tired, but they don't have mouths, so it's not like I could even offer them a snack or a drink.
Nope.
That's just how it was.
It's a weird little life.
So they're kind of crawling around, and I'm like, okay, nobody's gonna fly up on me probably. And I was very adrenaline extremely high, heart rate high, but I was brave. I did fine. And so I brought Zola out. And Zola's like, ooh, it smells interesting over there. And she like walks over to the gumbo limbo, and she's like, holy fuck, look at this. And she starts like sniffing at them, and then pushing her nose on them. And then she ate like 5 of them. She's like, ow, crunch, 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 crunch. She's like, ooh, these are great. Sniff, 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 crunch, 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 sniff, sniff, crunch, crunch, crunch. She was like, they are my friends and also my snacks.
There are tales of this during the Washington brood, that there are some dogs that just, because they're all, they're
everywhere.
They're just piling up at the curb, right?
Yep. And
dogs just go in there and just chomp them.
Yep.
It can't be great. I mean, they must overeat them, but
yeah.
I guess Zola, you're one of those dogs. And Voods, as somebody pointed out, was not, because Voods didn't want to eat it. Guac, I think, ate one.
I think he did. I was live tweeting my cicada experience, and someone told me a story of their dog, their beagle, who I don't think it was cicadas. I think the beagle ate a bunch of June bugs and then like came in the house and puked them up on the bed, which was like a whole terror that I had not anticipated.
Well, that was in your head when Zola was eating them.
Yes, it was.
Oh.
She did not. But I did eventually stop her. But then she's like, look at this bag, right? There's a bunch of cicadas still in the bag. They are free to climb out. They have not climbed out.
Look at this bag.
And so she takes her snoop and she's like, pushes it on the bag where there's a bunch of cicadas, and then all the cicadas go like vibrate all at once.
Like try to flap their wings or something.
Yeah, they kind of make their sound, and she's like, ooh, it's cool, it's like vibrating on my snoop if I push my snoop on the bag. So she's like, push the snoop on the bag, and all the cicadas like zzz, and she push it zzz. She thought it was awesome.
That is such a complicated toy to recreate there, Zola. That may have been the one time in your life you're going to get to do that.
So the cicadas did not make it long. Like some people were like, oh, you're going to like bring an environmental disaster onto the Keys, because we were talking about starting our own brood. Like, guys, one, it floods here every few years with salt water because of storm surge, because of hurricanes. I'm pretty sure those cicadas are not going to survive saltwater inundation.
No, I don't think cicada nymphs are made for that.
No. 2, there were like 100 cicadas and half of them were dead. And the birds ate a bunch of them. They're like, ooh, look at these giant bugs that aren't moving, like we'll eat. So there was no risk of environmental disaster. They were all dead and gone by about 5 p.m. And Zola ate 5 of them.
Yes, the real disappointment, I guess, the bad thing for the podcast is that I don't get to have a Malort with a cicada in it. She had more cicadas than I did.
That's
Jen.
quite true.
Zola, I'm jelly.
You just got home. I was going to say Friday, but it actually was Saturday.
I got home Saturday morning, yes.
And they were not going to live that long, even if I put one in a jar. They were past their prime.
I believe a dead one is all that is required for the drink, because I'm not putting a live cicada in a drink. That's mean.
All right, if anyone has a little dead nymph,
just send us more cicadas. I hear you're still shoveling them in Chicago.
I don't want any more
send
live
them to me.
cicadas.
Care of Ingo. Jen, do not open.
Just send one nymph. I don't want another box.
No, you need an insurance policy of a lot.
I think 2-time Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Gwen Filoso saw the thread and she's like, Jen, what the hell? And I was like, life is full of adventure, Gwen, and sometimes this is what it looks like. And
some things don't go as you anticipate them.
I've had the adventure and I don't need it again. But if anyone would like to send a single dead cicada
encased in 100 other cicadas.
You know what? If you want to send more cicadas, at Ingo Burkhardt on Twitter, you can communicate with Ingo
and I
directly.
promise I won't use them to torment you. I'll go off in a corner somewhere of the neighborhood and play with my cicadas there.
I'm leaving on
There's
Thursday.
a vacant lot down the road.
Zola will be thrilled. For like 3 days after that, she just kept going back to the tree looking
That's
for more.
why Fetta's over there.
Yes, they're looking for the cicadas. It
Fetta's
smells
been
like.
sniffing over there
Mhm.
too.
Yep.
That's why.
That's why
Oh, Fetta, you didn't tell me that.
it smells like cicada. She didn't eat any.
Well, maybe she's had second thoughts.
Yeah, probably.
She's like, I thought those looked delicious when Zola was eating them. She made it look real good.
Yep. So it was quite an adventure, but yes, you didn't get any for your drink. If you would like to arrange with someone to receive N additional cicadas, where I think N should equal 1, you think N should equal 100,
Box full.
you sort it out. As long
You can't
as
just send one. It might not make it. You got to send.
wait, you said you wanted to be dead.
A few. It has to be a good one. This is how I order from Amazon too. I don't just order
This is
one
true.
thing. I order 3 of the same thing, and then I get them all, and I'm like, oh, I only needed one. Oh well, I'll put them in a drawer.
Yep, this is definitely her Amazon strategy. I was not drinking at all, but apparently at like 1 a.m. a couple nights ago, ordered myself a t-shirt from Amazon that said, "Sorry, I have great tits and correct opinions," and it's got a girl jumping rope on it.
Like a 50s or a cheerleader looking girl, yeah.
Oh no, she's like
Pin-uppy.
8. No.
Oh, really? It's a
no,
little
no.
girl?
She's completely non-sexualized. It's a
Oh.
little girl just
Oh.
jumping rope on there. I forgot I ordered it. It showed up and I was like, okay, it's hilarious. And then I put it on, and today we were like getting ready to go into Key West, and I like glanced at myself in the mirror on the way out, and I was like, oh, I cannot. I mean, I could totally wear it in Key West, but I'm like, this is not the vibe I want to share today, so I had to change.
I have some t-shirts like that.
Yeah.
In all honesty. I'm wearing one right now.
We got a lot of the F and Bird t-shirts. Is that one that says like,
Yes, it's very
I
rude.
think you should eat a bag of dicks? Is that one?
Perhaps you should consider eating a bag.
All the F and Bird shirts are great. I wear them to therapy.
I can't wear it in Key West though. I mean, it's a bit over the line. It's a lot over the line. Even in Key West, which is like not kid friendly.
No. Don't bring your kids to Key West.
It's not Disney World.
No, it is not.
I mean, if you feel like having discussions with them about, what certain t-shirts mean and stuff that they're going to see, I'm not gay, but $20 is $20.
I was just going to say that shirt is in like every cheap t-shirt window in Key
at
West.
like eye level for a 5-year-old kid.
Yes, for sure.
It's always at the bottom.
Can you imagine your 5-year-old just being like, I want that. Like, I don't
What
know
does
what it means,
mean?
but I want it.
I want it. You know how you gave me
Do that.
$5, Dad? I bought this t-shirt.
Oh no. Okay, so there you go. That's the cicada adventure.
That's a great story.
it-
I'm sorry I missed it, but your tweet thread was really good about it.
It was a great adventure. I do not want any more cicadas, so you are in charge of managing any additional cicadas that arrive,
I can live with this.
as well as dog interactions with cicadas and cleaning up any cicada-oriented puke that might happen, and I don't want to even know that it existed.
Okay.
Okay.
I would deal. These are clear terms. I accept your terms. It shall happen outside your consciousness.
Excellent.
If it happens. It might not happen.
You just need a cicada supplier now. So.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for dog updates.
Dog updates. We have no fish stories.
Well, we have a tiny fish story for Taste of the Keys, sort of.
For Taste of the Keys.
Yeah.
I have an update to an earlier story about the
Oh.
stingray that had
Yeah.
maybe the virgin birth.
Yes, please do tell.
There was a story a while ago. It was on, Wait, Don't Tell Me, I think, too, about a stingray in an aquarium in North Carolina that had gotten pregnant.
We definitely talked about it.
Pregnant, and they didn't know. There was no male stingray. There was no other stingray in the tank. There was a shark in the tank.
Yep.
And so for a while, someone, I can't remember if they were affiliated with the aquarium or not, but somebody that was being interviewed was speculating that the shark might have done it, and that there may be like shark or stingray babies,
Yep.
which is completely contrary to science, and that doesn't work. That would be like, I think the analogy was something like me having sex with a banana and expecting like banana Ingo babies. This is not how it works, okay? But anyway, and then everyone was like, it's parthenogenesis. It's just like Jurassic Park. It's the females impregnating themselves. It's crazy. And everyone just ran with it. And some reporter actually did a follow-up story of this because this was months ago, and normal gestation period for a stingray is like 2 months, and it's now been 4 months, no babies.
Produce the babies.
And the stingray is still chubby, which I think made them think it was pregnant.
Listen, I just want to interject here that this is why you're not allowed to ask a human lady about her pregnancy, because sometimes you'll be like, oh my God, when are you due? Congratulations. And she'll be like, I'm not pregnant, I'm just fat.
She'll disabuse you of this. That's right. There are many theories about why a stingray might be chubby, including just eating a lot of food. A lot of male stingrays have a paunch.
Yeah.
That's what this one apparently has. But this reporter tried to go to this small aquarium. I mean, this isn't like National Aquarium, San Diego, Atlanta, Baltimore standards, right? I don't think they even had a veterinarian for this stingray. So they're just kind of looking at it, poking at it, going, she looks pregnant to me. So there's no sign that they ever did a blood test, which would have shown pregnancy or not, right? Or had her pee on one of those little pregnancy tests that also would, the plus or the not.
Yeah, 2 lines,
would have
line.
also shown things. There's no evidence that any of that was ever done. There's no evidence of pops, as they call them. And so this reporter went down to the aquarium and they called the cops on her.
Craziness.
And said she was trespassing and harassing people by asking questions. And so no updates. She also went later as a guest on a ticket. And she said it's just a really dark aquarium. Really dingy little tank with this stingray and a shark in it. And it's like hard to see anything. Stingray looked a little chubby. And, but it's like low budget stuff.
Yeah.
And this aquarium apparently is super enjoying the attention, but also super not interested in following up on the story.
Interesting.
And they're like, well, these things take time. Sometimes it takes longer. So this sounds real sus.
It sure does.
And, since the stingray can't talk, it's a little harder to confirm or deny. But there are ways that this could have been validated. And apparently it was not. So maybe not Jurassic Park. Maybe not parthenogenesis. Maybe not daddy shark, mommy stingray. I'm sad that this happened, but I also blame the media somewhat or journalists for not checking this stuff out better.
Good job to the journalist who faced the threat of arrest to make this story happen.
Yes, I think it was sort of classic we don't like you around here asking too many questions. Maybe you should leave this town by sundown, which I don't think that was an exact quote, but we don't like you asking questions, and there's a report of you harassing visitors.
Yeah. Shout out to the National Aquarium in Baltimore, by the way. Have you been there?
Yeah, it's awesome.
We didn't go together, right? I went on a date with a bad guy there once, though. The aquarium
that might have been me.
Good.
Maybe that was me.
No.
I mean, I've been there a few times. It's amazing.
It's really good.
It's multi-level, and it's just all good things about an aquarium.
Yeah.
Although they do have a dolphin show, which I think are now
do they?
Ethically a little bit more questionable than they were, 10 years ago when last time I was there.
Interesting.
I don't think they had Shamu or anything, but they did have that. But they have a lot of, information and education. They have divers that dive around in there and stuff. Bigger aquariums are better aquariums. Sorry.
Yeah. Get an ASA approved.
Oh, and don't be fooled. It's called the National Aquarium in Baltimore.
Yeah.
It's the famous aquarium.
Yeah.
There's also something called the National Aquarium, in Washington, D.C.
Wait. Where's that?
It's like near Federal Triangle, and it's like
It's just some dude's aquarium.
6 tanks. No, it's in a federal building. It's like 6 tanks. They're dirty, dingy, and they have a piranha feeding as an exhibit.
Oh my God.
they threw meat in for the piranhas, and the piranhas were decidedly not that interested, as I recall. But it's the same thing. It's like it's got like a high school setting, and there's like 6 or 7 tanks, little like aquariums like you'd have in your house.
That is terrible.
But they trick you because they're like, it's the National Aquarium. Come see it. So I'm sure a lot of tourists go there and then they're like, what? This is lame.
Yes. No, the one in Baltimore is a good one.
That's the one.
All right. Well, while you've been talking, I have been looking up. We just need to shout out Emily Cataneo. Emily Cataneo. From Raleigh, who is the one who got the journalist who got the police called on her for investigating the Stingray story.
Good job, Emily. You're doing good work. Funny how it's a woman who actually got to the fucking bottom of this instead of a man who's like, bro, someone told me this is a pregnant stingray.
So here, let me just give the journalism side of this. In May, The Assembly, a long-form North Carolina magazine, so The Assembly is the name of the magazine,
got it,
decided to investigate Charlotte's situation. Charlotte's the stingray.
Yes.
Yeah, she's in a situation.
Yeah, well,
The outlet put Raleigh-based reporter Emily Cataneo on the case as she was traveling for a separate story on a Bigfoot festival.
Emily, you want to believe.
Cataneo stopped in Hendersonville to check on North Carolina's favorite stingray. It didn't go well.
Maybe she is Agent Mulder. She's traveling around trying to find Bigfoot, and then she's like, I heard there's a pregnant stingray. And then you're like, aliens? And it's not aliens.
It says, Charlotte, who's the stingray, Charlotte seemed fine, but the aquarium called the police on Cataneo, who, unlike Charlotte, is definitely pregnant. So congratulations, Emily.
Congratulations. Hope you weren't, I hope you're not unsure of the species of the father.
So Axios.
Parthenogenesis, Emily.
Axios has a good thing on this. Axios, by the way, just like totally unsolicited plug, like such a great newsletter subscription. They send like a morning and an evening newsletter, and it's always like really well written, like a quick read, interesting stuff. Highly recommend.
I need a news source now that Twitter is a burning dump fire of smelly garbage.
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of information from Twitter, but now that all the journalists and not journalists, all the outlets have moved away from it, it's kind of crappy.
Literally right now my computer is collecting data for me to do a study on how much Twitter is real garbage.
Secret.
I'm going to prove it scientifically.
I mean, this has always been your science anyway.
Yeah, no kidding. It's time for dog updates.
Yeah. Okay. I'm always reluctant to leave my rambly version of Administrative Corner, but let's do it.
There's not too many. You were gone this week because your daughter graduated from college. I mean, she was done in December.
She's not a dog, Jen. Jeez.
I'm explaining your absence.
I know. I was in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and it is nice out there.
It was lovely this week.
Always nice out there.
So it was me solo with the dogs, which like you've been solo with the dogs a lot because of my travel, but I've only had a couple stretches of being solo with the dog, but it went pretty fine.
It's the difference between living in a frat house or a sorority house. Yes. You have rules. I have mess.
This is true. There is they are all like, what the fuck? When I'm like, no, you can't do that. And they're like, but Dad lets me do that all the time.
Yeah, well, when I'm here, they're like, oh, you're letting me do this?
Yeah, they definitely like it better.
No bedtime?
Anyway, everybody did fine. There are still people staying at Steak Neighbor's house, and so we had to Zola escape over there. But the main news is we had a vet visit for Chief Brody to get his Librela shot, and then Guac, because Guac has a wart, and it's like on the base of his neck, kind of by his shoulder blade, a really pettable place. But this thing's big.
It's getting bigger by the day. I mean, noticeably bigger.
It's not the size of a lime, but it's bigger than a chickpea. It's maybe the size of a grape, like a green grape.
Yeah, green olive, green grape.
Green olive, yeah.
It's scary big. You feel
big.
it and you're like, frick, what the heck?
Weird looking.
What are you growing, Guac?
And it's getting bigger.
He's like, check it out. I'm growing something.
We made an appointment like 3 weeks ago. And they're like, our first appointment is the end of May. And we're like, fine, he's not going to die from
They're like,
this.
this is the first non-emergency appointment you've made in 2 years.
Can you wait? Yes, we can. So we finally took him in. I took him in on Thursday for it, and it is basically canine papillomavirus.
Wow. So it's CPV instead of HPV.
Exactly.
Wow.
Um,
We should have gotten him vaccinated.
they don't have a CPV vaccine, though normally it responds to azithromycin, which is like a Z-Pak, which is an antibiotic, even though it's a virus. But he's got this giant wart now, so it's a little past that. CPV is more common in puppies because their immune systems aren't advanced, and like very long-term followers will know that Hopper had this when she was a puppy.
I was wondering if that was after we started posting pictures.
No, we didn't start posting. Like the Golden Ratio came about many years after that, but Hopper had her own account.
Oh, Hopper
dog.
dog, and then there was we had a Venkman account. Yeah, they were very sporadic.
Yep.
God, those were the days. We didn't have a daily picture even of them.
No. But Hops had this wart that was like kind of the size of a chickpea, maybe a little bigger, on her nose.
The middle of the front of her nose.
And
it looked really bad.
We named it Norbert.
That may have been a mistake in hindsight.
But eventually just fell off. It like disintegrated and fell off.
We did give like L-lysine to her, which may or may not have helped.
It coincided with the disappearance of the wart, but we have been giving guac lysine, and it has not helped with his wart.
Nothing fell off.
So the vet is like, look, it's not really causing any problems, but I can take it off. I was like, yes, you need to take it off. Like, it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's where we pet him all the time. Like, eventually something's going to happen to it. Like, just take it off. So he's going in on Tuesday to have his wart removed. And normally they get these like on their face, their lips or their nose or their tongue. And he actually has a couple tiny little spots. One like by like where his whiskers are, and the other one's maybe on his lip. Would you just think are small skin tags, but I bet are probably warts. So maybe she'll snip those off too.
And then give some erythromycin. Maybe.
Hopefully.
Knock that virus out of him.
A Z-Pak.
Poor Guacoman.
He's a Wacko-Man.
Someone has noticed that we've featured Guacoman a few times in the daily pictures. It's just because he's a good boy.
He's so good.
Yeah, he gets a little underappreciated because he's kind of in the background and tries to stay out of trouble.
Yep.
Everybody
else here is problematic.
In his weird little way, he's quite consistently, and he's, predictable. He does the fewest runaways except Brody.
That's true. Brody just has a hard time moving.
Brody does not have the ambition to run away. Guac has the ambition, but is so focused on ball that he wouldn't swim away without some. If someone threw a ball to Cuba, he would follow it to Cuba.
True facts.
But that's not happening.
Yep. But yeah, other than that, everybody is good, mellow, no problems.
Yeah, we don't have a recent weight update on Zola, but she seems to be getting longer.
She's quite long now.
Yep. She's in a little bit of an awkward phase, but she still looks really nice.
All of her brothers, Hudson, Logan, Mashed Potato, her little litter mates who are on Instagram, all look like little dogs now. They're kind of fluffy, kind of shaggy, and she is not. She looks totally different than them.
She's sleek and fast.
Yes, very sleek and slim. So
it's too bad she's eclipsing Feta. Feta's looking weirder by the day by comparison.
She does have almost all of her grown-up teeth now, though.
She's been eating rocks. Of course she lost her first teeth.
Don't lose the other ones. That's the only additional set you get.
We have not been finding the teeth as well as we did
No.
when dogs are in Maryland. We find a lot of teeth.
That's true.
When we're here, we got a lot of sand, a lot of gravel, and a lot of grass.
I am vaguely making plans for Feta and Zola to spend a week with Michael the trainer.
Wearing striped shirts, orange jumpsuits.
To jail.
Kind of.
Feta is a very nervous dog. She's really insecure. And it's a little, like, I think with some training she will be more confident. But it's a little hard when it's just one of us here to like work on training when we're also managing all the other dogs, and it has been just one of us here for the bulk of like the last 3 months. So she could really just use some of that kind of discipline. And Zola is a like very good dog, but is also just like a little cray, and why not send them together and get her basics down?
Yeah, that's right. For different reasons, of course, it is good to give them both a little bit of obedience training, right?
For sure.
Feta because it eases her anxiety, and Zola because it makes her a better dog and will make her happy to know the rules.
Yep. So maybe July. I'm just because it's June already.
I'm just laughing because it would have to be a time that, we can do this and you're not traveling and I'm not something. There's something
Hey,
crazy
from
going
July 1st to July 21st, I'm not going anywhere.
on. That's pretty good.
That's crazy.
That's crazy talk.
3 weeks in a row
Nah.
here?
Nah.
No,
Won't last.
it probably won't.
Won't last.
Um,
Someone's going to schedule you for something.
that's fine. I'll take their money.
You don't, yeah, and you won't have jury duty because you just had that and you didn't have it. So
I
that was
didn't have
good.
to go. That was always good.
Advantage of living in a non-metropolitan area.
Oh my God, this is like the 6th time I've been summoned for jury duty.
That's the disadvantage. The advantage is there aren't many jury trials
No.
and they don't need you.
I've only even had to show up once and I didn't have to be on a jury. So,
Yeah.
Okay, that's the end of dog updates.
Everyone's doing fine.
Yep. It's time for ramblings. I got one for you. We were actually going to do this last week, but we're doing it this week.
I love this. I am all happy for ramblings being asynchronous.
Florida priest accused of biting woman who was trying to take communion.
I remember this.
Yeah.
This is a great story. It does not involve fish. Unless you're thinking theologically. Go ahead.
Rebecca Cohen and Courtney Brogel wrote this for NBC News. A Florida priest is accused of biting a woman during a dispute at Sunday Mass and could be charged with battery. The woman attended 10 a.m. service at St. Thomas Aquinas Church in St. Cloud on Sunday and tried to take communion. She had a brief discussion with Reverend Fidel Rodriguez, who told her that she hadn't taken the proper steps to secure communion and sent her away with a blessing. She didn't go to confession. And I just got to say, like, as a Catholic, like, this is bullshit because, like, most people don't go to confession and they take communion every Sunday anyway.
But don't you think she was probably showing signs of being out there and aggressive? And he was probably like, why don't you come back later after you've taken confession?
Go do confession. Here's a blessing.
Yeah, like, don't disrupt this communion today. And he was hoping she'd, like,
He could have just given her the
get distracted. Maybe, but she was maybe being weird.
I mean, she clearly was
being
because
weird.
things get worse.
Yeah, his instincts may have been right, even though his response was not the best.
The woman returned for a service 2 hours later. So in the Catholic Church, like, if you go to Mass on Sunday, there's like a 7 o'clock and a 9 o'clock and an 11 o'clock.
Depending how big the church is, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
They can have many. They can have a Saturday night one, too.
Yes.
Nowadays, in this modern church where they speak English.
All right, so she goes to 10 a.m. Mass. She's denied communion. She comes to noon Mass, tries to take communion, and the same priest is there. It's not like they got like a whole bunch of priests.
It wasn't
They
the
just do
bishop.
the same thing over and over. And so Rodriguez is like, did you do confession between 10 a.m. Mass and now? Which he knows she didn't because
He would be the one taking
he's the
confession.
one taking confession, and they don't do it between Masses on Sunday generally. I guess maybe if you're a giant church, they do. And so he's like, did you do confession since I saw you 2 hours ago? And she says, it's not your business.
He was like, it's exactly my business. It's not your business. I'm the one who told you. I'm the one who would take communion, would take confession, and I'm the one who's going to give you communion now. I'm the only one whose business it is.
Yeah. So Rodriguez, the priest, it says Rodriguez, who didn't have any information or details about the woman's background, offered her Holy Communion, the church said.
Interesting.
We're not sure if we believe the church.
Layers
here.
now here. Hearsay.
The church says he offered her communion. Quote, at that point, the woman forcefully placed her hand in the vessel and grabbed some sacred communion hosts, crushing them.
You do not. This is not a chip basket.
This is a mortal sin. So
Yeah.
for those of you who are not Catholic, there are mortal sins and venial sins. And mortal sins, you go directly to jail,
Do not
but actually
wait. Do not
directly
pass
to
go.
hell.
Do not pass go.
Mortal sin, you go right to hell for it. Venial sin, like,
Pass
you know,
go. You get to,
That's
to
right.
argue.
Desecrating the host, mortal sin.
Like, and that includes dropping it.
You drop
during
it on the
communion.
ground, go to hell.
It's, I mean, it is
Yes.
unbelievably serious.
It is
Yeah.
serious. So this is a big fucking deal. if you are a Catholic.
She reached in there and crumbled a bunch of them up.
So the vessel is usually a kind of like low bowl that's got a bunch of the hosts in it, and they're blessed at that point. You can buy communion hosts
Right.
on Amazon, which we may have done and have a box of in the pantry and given them to the dogs as snacks.
More than blessed. Doctrinally, and this is something you have to believe as a Catholic, they have become the body of Christ at that point, right? This is after that point in the ceremony. They are the body of Christ. The wine is the blood of Christ.
If you are a Catholic, you believe that is literally true.
Not metaphorical.
If you're not a Catholic, you may think it's symbolic, but if you're a Catholic, it is literally true.
The Lutheran church that I was raised in, it was like it was a metaphor.
Yeah, not in the Catholic church.
We're allowed to believe it's still
Cardboard.
biscuits and wine. Yeah.
Cardboard biscuits, yeah. No. So this is for sure a big deal if you are like a priest. And
it's a fighting offense.
it clearly was to Father Rodriguez.
Good job, Father Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, who had only one free hand because he's got the bowl in the other hand and he can't drop the bowl.
He's trapped.
Struggled with the woman as she refused to let go of the hosts.
That's bad.
The church says the woman then pushed Rodriguez, who, quote, bit her hand so she would let go of the hosts she grabbed.
He must have been just frantic.
She was immediately asked to leave. I mean, she's clearly got some issues.
Church security approached her.
Yeah.
There is no church security, but
No.
other parishioners may have been like, get out of here, you mortal sinner.
Yeah. Police investigated the incident at the church about 30 minutes south of Orlando, and a charging affidavit accused Rodriguez of battery. The woman told police that Rodriguez tried to, quote, ram the wafer into her mouth after he became upset with her for not having completed the necessary steps to take communion.
Wait, the police charged the priest with battery?
Yeah, because he bit her.
Come on. It's defense of property and the blood of the body of Christ.
She accused him of grabbing and biting her arm as she tried to take a wafer he was holding. Rodriguez told police that she attacked him first and that he was trying to protect the sanctity of communion. He told police the woman pushed him and wouldn't let go of the tray, and that the only way he thought to extract her from it was to bite her arm. Police said witnesses provided video of the incident.
Can't believe they charged him.
Flip phone activate.
I really am. Flip phone activate. I really am very disappointed. That's some real classic local police investigative work. We asked the lady, and she said you bit her, Mr. Rodriguez. The lady, Chauncey Wentworth III, said you bit her, Priest Rodriguez.
The Diocese of Orlando said Rodriguez responded in a way that was aimed to, quote, protect the Holy Communion from this sacrilegious act. While the diocese does not condone physical altercations such as this, in good faith, Father Rodriguez was simply attempting to prevent an act of desecration of the Holy Communion.
Yeah, she forced the encounter. He didn't do anything. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
The Eucharist, that's what the little crackers are called, the church said is considered the source and summit of worship and faith. It is not something a person can arbitrarily demand, and is certainly not a mere cookie, as the complaint called it, the diocese said.
Oh, it's a non-Catholic cop.
Clearly a non-Catholic
Clearly
cop.
Probably
Calling it a
hates
cookie.
priests. Freaking local cops.
So there you go. Don't put
This
anyone unless
is
they ask you to.
very
But also,
dramatic.
don't show up in churches and in religious houses and fuck with their sincerely
She
held
arguably
things.
asked to be bitten. He would have used his hand if it had been free. Could have pushed her.
Yeah,
pushed
you're not
her
allowed
away.
to drop that thing.
No, I mean, that's a real, I could totally see it, right? Like I'm picturing myself, I don't know, cleaning up the dog's food or something and carrying something where I can't drop it.
Mm.
And then a dog is biting me in the leg and I can't do anything.
And you bite back.
I wouldn't. This is a different scenario.
Yeah.
In my scenario, I'm probably carrying something in my mouth too, because
You do that.
that's the third hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's time for Taste of the Keys.
Yay.
Pride has started, and so Pride Week is coming up starting tomorrow in the Keys. I'm going to miss the
I
parade
think
and stuff on the weekend.
Pride Month is great. It's
Yep.
very, it
We're gonna have a
seems
good time.
very joyous and defiant, and that's not a bad thing.
Will say 2-time Pulitzer Prize winning friend of the squad, Gwen Filosa,
Yes.
shared this very viral thread
Of the fish?
from Ben Baska of the goldfish that he found in his yard,
He's British, apparently.
which is worth sharing. So this guy, Ben, goes outside and he finds a goldfish laying in his
a
lawn.
big goldfish.
He said, so today I found a goldfish just on the grass in my back garden.
It's long.
It was alive, I think, and I have absolutely no idea where it came from. There's no ponds anywhere near here, so I took it inside.
Goldfish NATO.
I will say I have also, like when I'm running in DC, found fish. Like not grocery store fish. Fish. Just like laying on bridges, on sidewalks
When
before.
you say fish,
Like
what
a
do you mean?
fish out of a stream.
but not a goldfish.
No, like a bluegill.
Like in places where people were fishing, maybe?
No, like I found one running over the 16th Street Bridge.
How was it running?
I was running.
Oh, okay.
The fish was laying on the sidewalk on the bridge.
That was a good joke, by the way.
Under the bridge is like Rock Creek Parkway,
But way under the bridge,
like
not a little
200
bit.
feet under the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not 3 feet.
But it's not like there's not a river down there. It's a road.
Yeah.
Where did that fish come from? I don't know. It's just sitting there on the sidewalk.
It makes no sense.
No, I took a picture of it at the time. I was like, what the heck is this fish doing here?
I think some fish are checking out flying.
I have had this same experience of discovering a fish, but my fish was definitely dead.
You were late.
This guy is like, I don't think this fish was dead. So he brought the fish inside and he took like an old freezer drawer, like from his fridge.
Yeah, good
And
idea.
filled it with water and put the goldfish in there, and the goldfish started swimming around.
It's so good.
And then he bought a little fish tank. He probably went to like whatever the closest store was
He
that would
was
have a fish tank.
Panicking.
Yep. And he put the goldfish in there, and it's got a little bubbler and like a couple plastic plants. And he says, much happier in an actual and hastily bought tank. I have a fish now. And there's like, so his first post has a bunch of comments finding the fish in the yard. And then the second post with the fish in the drawer has 168 comments. And then the fish in the tank has 515 comments. And I think like 500 of them are like, that tank is too small for the fish.
Actually,
And then he's like, repeat after me. A hastily bought temporary fish tank is better for a goldfish than lying dead on the grass. Like
none
dicks.
of them understand or acknowledge that, right? They're all just like, this is an inappropriate tank for this size goldfish. This size goldfish needs antibiotics.
Oh my God.
Terrible people.
Yep. So anyway, the goldfish is doing well. The guy's Twitter profile now says world-renowned expert in goldfish care. He lives in Newcastle upon Tyne.
But he seems to be doing all this in good faith, and he's not arrogating to the title to himself except as a joke.
Yes, that's right. And he got a whole bunch of chemicals for the tank today.
And he may or may not understand that goldfish die a lot, irrespective of the care they receive.
Yeah.
So I hope this doesn't end tragically and shortly. But if it does, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
I mean, did he name the goldfish yet?
As far as I know, he has. Oh wait, yes, he did. Alice,
Okay. Well,
aka Lazarus, aka the fish who lived.
well, I hope Alice Lazarus, the fish who lived, continues to live.
Yeah.
For the sake of this guy's efforts, to reward his efforts.
So there you go. That's not really from the Keys, but Gwen shared it, and so it kind of counts for something.
Yeah. Now it's local. She
She
also shared that she'd already been getting comments about when's heterosexual month and
Oh, fuck
whatever.
those guys.
Yeah. Why don't we have a heterosexual month? And then somebody looks at them. Or no. What was the answer? One of the tweets, I was like, I get the question, why do you need Pride Month? And then I look them square in the face and I go, because of you.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's time for German Word of the Week.
Anyway, it's a joyous time. I do not have anything Pride Month appropriate. Go gays.
I'm glad you like rooting for our team.
Yeah. I think it's amazing. You guys are doing great work. The amount of
The gays, us the
Courage.
gays.
courage it takes to learn about yourself to the point where you know what you want, even though society is completely against it.
Huh.
And you're going to get so much shit for it, probably, or
Yeah.
you're afraid you will get so much shit for it, and you still do it. That's amazing. That's a lot of people never have to do anything that brave. Come on. So, go gays.
Okay.
My My German word of the week is a phrase, and it is mit allen Wassern gewaschen.
In all the water washed.
Yeah, washed with all the waters.
Yep.
Allen Wassern gewaschen. And it just means someone who's like knows all the tricks. He's been there. He's got all the inside knowledge. Der ist mit allen Wassern gewaschen.
He was washed with all the waters.
Just means like he's, you can rely on him for a clever solution. That guy knows how to get around stuff. He knows stuff. He's clever, right? Super clever.
Yeah. He was washed with all the waters.
Right. And it comes up because that is now the slogan for Underberg, circling back to an earlier podcast.
Yes, we do have to talk about this.
Bitters is mit allen Kräutern gewaschen, washed with all herbs. Herbs, but they also say they're aromatics maybe because it's not just
botanicals.
Herbs, right? But that's it, botanicals. It's more than just what you would think of as herbs or herbs.
Herbs.
Or herbs. Or herbs.
Herbs.
Or herbs.
There's an H. Herbs.
Or herbs. Herbert.
You could do it incorrectly.
Yeah.
I believe I have a shirt that says
Herbert.
Sorry, I have great tits and correct opinions. This is one of them.
Damn, you're right. You're right. So it's not just herbs, it's also other substances and plants that may not qualify as herbs.
Like a juniper berry is not a herb.
Botanicals
Yeah.
is a better description.
Yeah.
Plus, especially that allows them to keep it secret what's in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Underberg. As you will recall, we had a lot of banter about
Quite.
Underberg and discovering, I think, in real time during
Yes.
the podcast that they have a give us the caps and we'll give you merch thing.
I love it so much.
It was great. And so
Thank you to everybody who's been sending us caps.
I know. Much appreciated.
1107 Key Plaza, number 202 Key West, Florida, 33040.
Appreciate the work that goes in that. I've been making my own little collection.
Yes.
But you and I also short-circuited the process a little bit and bought some like on eBay or
yes,
something.
we did.
Which probably come from a bar, we think.
I would think
Our
so,
theory is it's not someone drinking 700 Underbergs themselves.
No.
I mean, who the heck knows? They may be, I don't know what the mathematics are. Maybe they're just buying 700 and pouring them out and taking the caps.
That doesn't work.
That doesn't math.
Definitely not.
Anyway, we bought like 500 or something. And I mailed them in. Put them in an envelope, mailed them in, and deliberately didn't keep you posted on it because it could have been a little gift or a surprise. I didn't want to keep you up to date on these things.
Oh my God. So like Ingo's gone. And it was probably one of the boxes when I got the cicadas.
Which were very distracting.
So I was like, oh my God, cicadas. And then I'm like, okay, I should actually open the other two boxes. One was, I don't know, probably pill pockets from Amazon. And then I just opened the other box without even checking that it was addressed to you. Because most of the time all the packages are for me. And so I open it and there's like all this Underberg stuff in there. And there's like a styrofoam box. And I open it up and it is two long-stemmed, tiny little Underberg glasses.
Like for little people.
Engraved with our names. One says Ingo Burghardt and one says Professor Dr. Goldbeck on it. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I started texting Ingo and I was like, I have to FaceTime video him, which is not a thing we do.
Oh, yeah.
You're like in a park somewhere with people.
I was in the shower or something. Yeah.
And I was like, Ingo, did you do this? Did somebody send this to us? There's like a t-shirt in here and there's these glasses and there's like a little box of Underbergs in here.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, I ordered those. And I was like, oh no, this is actually addressed to you. Like I was so excited. And then I was like, oh fuck, I just ruined your surprise.
No, it's okay. But
Sorry.
I'm glad you liked it. It's like, it's the same as if I'd given it to you. You would have liked it then. This is good. So anyway, I got some merch. One of the merches was a t-shirt for myself that's green, Underberg green.
Yeah.
And that says mit allen Kräutern gewaschen, washed with all botanicals, borrowing from the mit allen Wässern gewaschen.
Nice. Wässern is waters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Waters. Mm-hmm. Not water, but waters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Understood.
Yep.
Interesting.
So there you go. So Underberg. Yeah. I also bought some more Underberg because what the heck?
You can buy it on Amazon.
Yeah, I did.
That's good.
They'll send it to you even though it has alcohol in it. Just real small.
You can get wasted on that stuff. If
you
you're
have to
dedicated.
do a lot of opening.
Yes.
tired.
Send us the caps.
You
if
probably
you do
get
that.
tired before you get wasted.
I think it also will like not taste great after a while.
Oh, it might like give you too many botanicals.
Yeah.
You'd be too healthy.
Too healthy. Okay, it's time for Ango Corner, where you say whatever you want and I don't tell you it's boring.
Yeah, fair enough. I still miss Vink.
Yeah.
We still continue to get some sympathy cards, and thanks for those. It helps to know how loved she was and that others are still thinking about her. And I just still think it's unfair that, she can't still be around. I think this whole system is suspiciously bad.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I wish she were still around. I've been looking at photos and stuff, and she was the a source of light and joy around here.
Yeah.
Not that we don't have light and joy. It's just, she was such a happy little girl.
She sure was.
Yeah. That's all.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening. And until next time, Slava Ukraini. And don't bet anyone unless they ask you to.
Yeah, and if they take your hosties, then they're asking you to.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.